Hello, this is your bonus video for week 8. We're talking about chapters 21 through 25. And the first part of this, I talked about Salem and the Salem Panic. This time, we are talking about memory bottles. So, memory bottles, they can be a real thing. This is when I did this spring, actually. I collect feathers because, as Emily Dickinson, remember my post on Grammarly, says hope is a thing with feathers. So I found a penny and I dried some rose petals, and then these are all the little things that I collected in the feather department. And when I look at it, I think, oh yeah, that was spring memories that I captured and preserved in this little bottle. I think this little bottle may have had bath salts in it at one point. So I encourage you, as the bishops do, to recycle your memory bottles, right? And who remembers as children when you would go and you would hope you would find a message in a bottle when you were a kid and you went to the beach? And I kept thinking about the way that they were like time capsules, and I thought, memory bottles. They could be filled with things, they could be filled with spells, but what if they could actually capture the memories themselves to be kept or to be viewed and kept? And in these chapters, you're going to be learning a lot about memory bottles. Now, one of Rebecca's bishops, Diana's mom's high magic skills, where she was unbeatable, was mnemonics. For those of you who remember the Keanu Reeves movie, what was it called? Johnny Mnemonic, was that what it was called? Anyway, mnemonics is the science of memory, and mnemonics was huge in the Middle Ages and early modern people, period. That's because they didn't have tape recorders. They didn't have playback, and you didn't have books. So as if you were a student, you had to memorize things or copy a copy of it out yourself. So there were all sorts of books in the medieval and early modern period dedicated to the art of memory. One of them was written by Robert Flood, and that may ring some bells for those of you who are having a reread. I love the history of memory and the efforts that people made to construct memory palaces where they would store their memories. And then you would go from room to room in your mental palace, and it would be like, oh, I put all of Aesop's fables in this box, in this room. And then you go through mentally your box until you got the fable that you wanted. And this was the recommended way for people to remember things. I think the memory bottle may be a little bit more straightforward. I don't know if I'd want any of my memories preserved in a bottle because, like so many things in this world, I would worry about it falling into the wrong hands and it not going well. It's one of the reasons why Diana is on such a mission to get as many of her family memory bottles back as she possibly can. But I'm pretty confident this was a bath salt container. If you want to make memory bottles for yourselves, always look, mason jars, baby food jars, that really weird shaped bottle of pasta sauce that you kind of can't bear to throw away. All of your mini Bon Maman jelly and jam bottles, and I know you have them. I know they're in your cupboard. These all make great memory bottles. Ornament with a gingham ribbon and a blob of wax if you want to go with the whole Bon Maman theme. This is a bottle that was my grandmother Gladys's, and I have no idea where she got it. I have no idea why she got it. It's stamped, so it's modern. She probably picked it up on one of her travels, or she used it as a vase. And whenever I see it, I think, now that would be a great memory bottle. So you can combine family history and memory bottles. Maybe there's an old bottle that belonged to one of your relatives that's sitting on a shelf in the back somewhere. Why not take it out? Find some little things to put in it that remind you of that person. Maybe there's also they were a teacher. So maybe you stick a little mini pencil in here. Maybe they were a mother. So you put you roll up a baby picture and stick that in with the little ribbon. Put them in the bottle, and then instead of putting it at the back of the shelf, right? Remember what happens to all those dusty bottles at backs of shelves? Sometimes they can get broken. Put it in pride of place. And if people ask you about it, say, that's my grandmother's memory bottle. I'll see you soon, and we'll be talking about the next set of chapters.